recording, man, so you don't do anything crazy.
Bro, it's about to get fucking hyphy in this bitch. You and you, whichever one of y'all bitch ass motherfuckers stole my fucking pizza rolls out the fridge, we can fucking get it, dude.
If you are someone who, by your own admission, cares about freedom, then your number one focus should be making sure that felons have the right to vote. Because if you live in a society where someone who has been convicted of a felony cannot vote, the government now has incentive to make all sorts of things felonies in order to strip that right from any demographic they would like. Roe v. Wade is a great example, because if you make abortions a felony, not only are things like elective abortions, which are still healthcare, they're just done to someone who is not actively dying. You successfully criminalized a health procedure that only women can undergo, and women who have miscarriages, which are medically known as a spontaneous abortion. Sorry, it's a felony too. If you supposedly or you say you care about freedom, but you do not care who those freedoms can be applied to, well, you don't care about freedom. You care about privilege.
Hey fuckheads, every time I hear about these climate change disasters like the Canadian wildfires and the ocean heating beyond anything we've seen before, I can't help but think about student loans. I know that might not make sense right now, but hear me out. I remember signing those loans with trepidation, but trusting the adults in my life that this was the right choice, because we made a deal with them. We would go get our education and financially ruin ourselves while they ran the world politically, environmentally, just keeping the lights on, so to speak. And so a lot of us got our education, and you know what happened when we graduated? The economy fucking collapsed, and we sat and watched our government award corporations that had made terrible, borderline criminal decisions with massive bailouts. And we stood there with mountains of student loan debt in fucking disbelief because we lived up to our end of the deal. But the world we were raised to believe would be waiting for us with opportunity and a healthy economy didn't exist. Not only do those magical jobs and healthy economy not exist, but y'all fucked our society and our planet too. We're getting a front row seat to the deaths of entire species and ecosystems because of the short-sighted legislation you knew would enrich you and fuck the planet, but it didn't matter, cause you'll be long gone before these consequences catch up to you. And now you won't step out of the fucking way and let us cobble something together from the rubble you're still wallowing in, just laying amongst the broken pieces of our world, cackling about how irresponsible we were for taking out loans, seemingly oblivious to the fact that the level of disregard your generation had for the entirety of the planet goes so far beyond irresponsible as to be fucking criminal. But you didn't sign a piece of paper saying you wouldn't be a piece of shit, so I guess everything's hunky-dory, right? And now that we're grown-ass adults, we have no desire to perpetuate the same society you cultivated because it's a slow death grind of tedium and pointlessness. Like, God forbid we want to find work that's fulfilling that we can actually see and understand what our labor is contributing to build. Because if we try to increase our quality of life by refusing to die in slow cubicle deaths staring at spreadsheets whose only seeming purpose is to perpetuate this broken economic system, then we're fucking lazy and we don't want to work anymore. I watched my parents and my friends' parents as I was growing up, and there was always this projection of stability that was seemingly required. This unspoken societal order of hidden norms and rules we all obeyed. So all the weird, ugly parts of growing up were left hidden. Processing our emotions and trauma was barely on the table. And we all grew up thinking that it was just the way the world worked, and made to fall in line until eventually we picked our parents' mantle up and kept the societal order going. But the thing we couldn't see as kids was that the whole charade was poisoned from the start. And now we're one thing we know is that we can't perpetuate. Whatever we do, whether it's reformation or just burning the whole thing down and starting new, the one thing we absolutely know is to not do to our children what you all did to us.
Good morning, bad news! Have you noticed that everything you're buying at the grocery store is now twice as expensive, but half the size? Well, it's not the result of shrinkflation or inflation. Those are just the economic terms being used to justify blatantly ripping you off. Inflation does not account for the higher prices you're paying. In fact, despite 9% inflation, which is almost a record high, if prices only increased 9%, that's like gas going from $2.50 a gallon to $2.73 a gallon. But anyone who's been shopping in the last 2 years knows that prices didn't go up 9%. They went up 10 to 20 to even 80%. And almost every penny of that increase went directly into the pockets of the mega corporations that are simultaneously using fraudulent psychological tricks to make you think that you're getting the same amount as before, and it should be expressly illegal. There is no reason that a container needs 2 inches of plastic at the bottom where there used to be none, other than tricking the consumers that they're already price gouging. And these companies are pretending that inflation doesn't even exist when it comes to paying their workers, but double dipping and saying inflation is rampant to raise prices and cut corners. And the results speak for themselves. Corporate profits hit $2.5 trillion at the end of last year, a 50-year increase in the middle of the systemic economic collapse of the middle and working class. And the worst part is that they're openly admitting that they want it to get worse because the recession will make them even more money.
Oh, somebody was asking me, like, don't you think there's good cops? Of course. But this is the thing. I think there are good and great people who are cops. Right. But I think the term good cop is a conundrum. It's not true. Because the job ain't good. The job ain't good. The machine, we're all part of the machine that's not good. We are agents of the machine that are not good. Are there good people in those roles? Absolutely. Great people who really thought they were joining to make the difference, to make the change. But now find themselves playing the same job.
You can run from jail.
Well, I mean, you gotta vote for him. That's the only way he's getting out.
Somebody emailed me this academic paper. It's very interesting. Talk about the difference between an echo chamber versus an epistemic bubble. In an epistemic bubble, you could argue that people are kind of trapped in an area where they only get like a certain type of news. They only see one type of thing. You can give them more information, and they'll go, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool. Then you've got people in echo chambers. The difference between an echo chamber and an epistemic bubble is people in an echo chamber, they get all of their information from one source, but they actively invalidate and discredit other voices around. So with an echo chamber, sometimes giving them information from the outside does the opposite, and it reinforces their respective ideas.
So Trump going to jail.
With Trump, there's going to be some people that are like, this is too much for me, but for his core fans, it's making them stronger and stronger. Like, of course the deep state is after him. Of course more indictments are coming. Of course the FBI said this. Of course the DOJ said this. It's all making sense, right? For them, every attack on him further solidifies their opinion that there's a group of deep state actors trying to take him down, and he's the only one that can stand between them and the American public.
Right. So here's the problem here. It's like, where's the CNN? CNN here? Is CNN here? Anybody want to own up to that? Here's the problem. What's this?
You're already facing charges.
Yes, okay.
Police may say almost anything to try to get you to admit to a crime or offer up information that could lead to an arrest, warrant, or incriminating evidence. That means they may say almost anything at any time. They can lie about having your fingerprints at the scene. They can lie about being able to get a warrant to search your property. That's often used, okay? They'll knock on your fucking door and you'll say, no, I don't consent to a search, because you never fucking voluntarily consent to a search. Do not voluntarily consent to a search. Your denial of consent to a search cannot be used against you to form probable cause to arrest you, okay? Because you have the fucking right to refuse to consent to a search, okay? That's just a regular fucking citizen, okay? Whether it be of your bag, of your car, whatever, always say no. Even if you have nothing in your fucking place. Even if you have nothing wrong, always just say no. You wanna know why? Because of the shit that I'm gonna tell you right now. Well, if I'm innocent, why wouldn't I just say yes? Because are you fucking out of your minds? They are not, their job is not to make you innocent or to prove you innocent. Their job is to put someone behind bars. Like, that's literally the fact of it. That's literally the fucking fact of it. Lo siento, I'm sorry. Even if they want to phrase it as, our job is to get to the bottom of who did it. Exactly. Their job isn't to get to the bottom of who didn't do it. Are you fucking out of your minds? Do not conduct a search. If they really have to search your place to get to the bottom of it, then they should be able to get a warrant for it. And then they can do as they please. Okay? They can do what the warrant says they can do. Right? You gotta go get a warrant, bitch. Get a fucking warrant, bitch. Okay? Look, and listen. You not consenting to a search is not an obstruction of justice. Believe that. Do not let a cop convince you that it is. They'll try to, but it's not. Okay? Cops often, very fucking often, will tell people when they're in their cars, when they're outside of the cars, when they're in their apartment, when they have a backpack on their shoulders, even though they are not under arrest at any point, do not have probable cause to search that bitch. They will tell them, hey, can I search your backpack? Can I search your place? Like, let me search. Can I search? And you'll say, no. And they'll say, well, we could get a warrant in 2 minutes. We're gonna get a warrant anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. That is a lie. That's a fucking lie. That's hilarious and a lie. You can't get a warrant in 2 fucking minutes, bitch. And even if you fucking could, then do it. Do it. That's what you say. Okay, then do it. Slam. Thank you.
I'm recording, man, so you don't do anything crazy.
Bro, it's about to get fucking hypey in this bitch. You and you. Whichever one of y'all bitch ass motherfuckers stole my fucking pizza rolls out the fridge, we can fucking get it, dude.
It was him.